Hello everyone, welcome to another video of Wise Interactive Learning. In this video, I am going to ask you only two questions. How many of you have seen boards like 50% off, 30% off or any flash sale in your merchandise or e-commerce store? And the second question is, in between addition and multiplication, which of these two you find more tougher? And I am betting that 99% of you find multiplication as tough. So today's topic is percentages. So let us consider what is percentage. Percentage means nothing but per 100, right? And take an example of finding 22% of 180. So in traditional way, you have been taught that finding percentages is like multiplying that number with the percentage required divided by 100, which literally means percent. But this is the dumbest way you can do it. So I'll show you a process where you can do the steps fast and easily, and you don't have to complicate yourselves with multiplication. Rather, which is the easier, it's addition, and I'll show you how. So in order to do that, you need to figure out few examples, or let's just say the whole percentages. So the process is very simple. What we have to do is we have to find the percentages of 50%, which is you have to divide that number by 2. In case of 25, you have to divide that number by 4. In case of 10%, you have to divide that number by 10. In case of 5%, you just have to divide the number which is 10% by 2, and then you can find out what is 1% just dividing it by 100. So the process is very simple but not traditional way. So in traditional way, you would go into all these calculations by cancelling out. Instead, what we'll do is we need to find out 22%, right? So what we'll do is we'll just add it like 10% plus 10% plus 1% plus 1%. So we know that 10% of 180 is 18. So 18 and 1% is 1.8. 1.8, 1.8. So 18 plus 18 is 36 and 1.8 plus 1.8 is 3.6. So the answer is 39.6. And now look over here how it is done. So you cancel zeros out, then you divide this 2 times 5, 2 times 9, and then you have to multiply this. So 2 times 9 is 18. So you carried 1, 2 times 9 is 18 plus 1, 19, and then you have to write this, and then you have to again divide. So what is the difference over here? What we have done is we have simplified this number into different steps. So we'll take another example in few moments. So let's take few more examples in which we'll find that the multiplication process is not necessarily required for finding out percentages. So 45% of, let's say, 170. So in traditional way, you would do is 170 times 45 upon 100, and then you have to do all those calculations. Instead, what we'll do is we'll take it as 50 minus 5%. So 50 minus 5% is still the same as 45%. So 50% of 170 is 85 because you divided it by 2, and then 5% is basically 10% divided by 2. So 10% is 17 and you have to divide it by 2, which also means it is 8.5. So now you know that subtraction you have to do very fast. So what do you have to add in 5? So you have to add 5 so that you can get to 0. Then this is 9, you have to add 6. Then this is 1, and so you have to add 7. So 76.5, this is your percentage. Now look over here. In this traditional way, you have to cancel out zeros, then 5 times 9, then 5 times 2, and then you have these calculations of 17 times 9, which is 153. Then you again have to divide by 2, and then you have to cancel out all these numbers, and you have more calculations. Instead, we have broke it into easier way. In this method, you can do all the calculations in your head. For example, let us say what is the 30% of 195. So 30% of 195 will be 58.5. How? 195 divided by 10 is 19.5. So 10% into 3. So 19.5 times 3 is 58.5. So that's easy. So you can do all sorts of examples in such a way for finding percentages. So please make sure that you subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon so you can get notified, like the video and also share it on your WhatsApp